Hey guys, it's Cameroon and welcome back to another video. Today, the mid-season patch has finally come out, so I'll be covering the new balance patch that includes the long-awaited nerfs to Mauga. So, enough wasting time, let's get right into the video. First up, we have the tanks. Mauga, his base health has been increased from 250 to 300, while his armor has been decreased to 200 from 250. His chain gun's ammo capacity has been reduced from 350 to 300, and then moving on into his cardiac overdrive ability, the lifesteal percentage has been decreased from 70% to 60%, and the cooldown has been increased from 10 seconds to 12 seconds. Cage Fight, his ultimate, has also received a nerf. The ultimate no longer grants infinite ammo, but still reloads his chain guns immediately. And lastly, his passive Berserker's overhealth conversion rate, when dealing crits, has been decreased from 60% to 50%. So overall, Mauga is going to be healing himself slightly less. With the armor nerf as well, he'll be taking more damage, which potentially might allow you to eliminate him before he sustains through everything. Moving on from Mauga, we have Orisa, and she has received some buffs. Orisa's primary weapon no longer has a fall-off damage range penalty again. It seems like they can never make up their mind on this one. And Fortify is now immune to forced critical damage like Mauga's Incendiary Critical as an example. Honestly, don't know why Orisa is getting buffed. I don't think anyone was asking for it. It's not much, but still. Moving on to the last tank that received some changes, we have Roadhog. His Take a Breather ability has received a nerf, with the total amount healed reduced from 500 to 450 health, and the cooldown in between each use of Take a Breather being increased from 1 to 1.5 seconds. Moving on to damage, Sojourn has received a buff. Her railgun no longer decays below 25%, meaning she'll now be able to deal more frequent damage and theoretically charge faster since it no longer goes back down to 0 when not dealing damage. Of course, shooting her railgun still resets it back to 0. Sombra's stealth has also received some minor quality of life changes that are technically buffs, but not too much. Basically, her grace period where stealth can be cancelled immediately after entering it has been increased from 0.5 to 0.75 seconds. Her cooldown also now pauses at 1 second while capturing or contesting points instead of 1.5 seconds, so she'll be able to enter stealth a little faster after that. And she now enters stealth after respawning in 1 second rather than 1.5 seconds. See, nothing too crazy with those stealth changes. They won't make too much of a difference. Finally, 3 support heroes also received some changes. The first hero is Ana, and she received a nerf to her biotic grenade. The grenade's effect duration has been decreased from 3.5 to 3 seconds. So that's another nerf to Ana, which honestly sucks. Anti is not fun to deal with, don't get me wrong, but rather than the team deal with that problem, they just rather nerf Ana again and again and again. It sucks, because Ana is actually fun to play, and they just keep making her less and less fun. Like, change Anti, not her kit. Illari received some buffs. Her solar rifle primary fire is no longer paused by secondary fire, nor her ultimate captive sun. Basically, it'll feel more smooth when firing her gun. And her ammo capacity has been increased from 14 to 16 shots. Her ultimate captive sun also received some changes. It now refills her secondary fire resource, which is her healing, and resets its overheated status. They also removed the damage fall off penalty on the sunstruck explosion, which is kind of strange. If you get hit by her ultimate, it'll always do the full damage of that projectile. And finally, Lifeweaver, his Thorn Volley, which is his primary fire, had its projectile speed increased from 70 to 80 meters per second, and the pedal platform is no longer pierced by piercing projectiles. There's not many of these projectiles in the game anyway, but I assume things like Sojourn's Overdrive no longer shoots through it. And that is everything on the mid-season balance patch. Other than that, not much else came from this update. There's some bug fixes as expected, and May's Hero Mastery stuff is out, so if you care for that, you can check it out. Personally, I don't think this update's that good. The Lunar New Year event doesn't even happen for another 3 weeks, so there isn't much really to do. The only good thing that came out of this, of course, is the nerfs to Mauga, but besides that, there still isn't much incentive to play this game at the moment, for me. Also, I just need to say this, the delay on the patch notes coming out today was a little annoying. Seriously, there's no consistency for the stuff. The patch went live, and there was nothing for almost 20 minutes. So you'd be like, oh, that's only 20 minutes. But there's times where they'll release patch notes before, or they'll release patch notes on time. It just doesn't make sense. There needs to be some sort of consistency that the community can expect, rather than this guessing game of, oh, are the patch notes coming out an hour after the patch? Are they coming out an hour before the patch, or are they coming out when the patch goes live? It just doesn't make sense, and it feels different every time. But that's just my take. Let me know what you think about this patch in the comments below too. I'd love to hear your opinions on it. Anyways, if you liked the video or found it useful, consider subscribing and leaving a like. It really means a lot to me. Enjoy the rest of your day, evening, and night, and I will talk to you all later.